Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Weddings Unfiltered. I'm Heather with Upstate Indie Weddings, and I have the one and only Ron from the newly minted Buffalo Pod.
That's right.
Oh
Correct.
my God.
Yeah. If you haven't heard.
Now you know. If you didn't know, you know. We are missing our beloved Molly. She is unwell, but she will be well soon and be on a future episode. So we miss you, Molly.
Come back soon.
Yeah, come back soon. We miss you. It's just us, just clowning around.
Just talking.
We need Molly. She really grounds us. You know what I mean? We just go.
I just want to get hit in the face with some hair.
Yeah, that is really good.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron, what are we talking about today?
All right. We are vendor focused today.
Ooh, vendors.
We
Pay attention.
Are going to talk about how to break into the wedding industry,
Mm-hmm.
what to expect in the wedding industry.
Yep.
I don't think some people really know what they're getting themselves into
Yeah.
when they break into this.
Yeah.
It's
She ain't
crazy.
easy.
No.
She ain't easy. I hear a lot of times because I talk to so many vendors, particularly in the onboarding process when they decide to become part of Upstate Indie Weddings. And I love to know the origin story. Like, how did you get into this? Like, what made you become a wedding florist or a planner or et cetera, et cetera. And so many people say, well, I had so much fun at my own wedding,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there is a big difference between planning something for yourself and then doing that service for someone else. And some people, the transition is great. And some people, the transition is maybe not so great.
Well, like you said, I think it's easy when you're planning your own wedding.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world when you're planning somebody else's.
For sure.
And I think I'd almost rather hear people say something more along the lines of like, I got into this because I love weddings. I love what I see at weddings. Like, I get excited about weddings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have to be excited about people's weddings to be in this industry.
Yeah. I want to be excited about creating someone else's vision,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
that really.
And I mean, there's so many different vendor categories, right?
Mhm.
And like, again, you know, we've talked about this on previous episodes. Please don't just jump into this without getting some practice in other areas.
1000%. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, one of the things I think a lot of people forget about is how long the days can really be, right?
Oh my God, they're so long.
Like, if you're a planner, you could be running from 8 a.m. till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
It's wild. I mean,
Those planners, Molly.
Shout out, Molly.
It's amazing what they go through. Photographers.
Photographers and planners are all day.
Yep.
They're all dang day.
And they're dealing with all the shit.
All of the family and friends. All the
All of
people
it.
with their opinions. All
Yep.
of the detail and minutia and the big picture.
Chasing
and everything.
around every member that needs to be in a photo at certain times.
Dealing with the members of the family who keep tugging on your shirt and saying, "Oh, get a picture over there,"
Yeah.
you know, who think that they will set up a great shot for you. Yeah, it's a lot to consider, and not to say that you shouldn't do it, but just kind of have an understanding of like the reality of the situation. And maybe you had a wonderful experience planning your own wedding, but you know there is a shift when you're doing it professionally.
100%. And I mean, you're working almost every weekend, especially in the summer here in Buffalo.
Yep.
Into the fall, you know, you may have like the winter off, depending on what you do,
Yeah.
what thing you're in.
Got to give up your weekends in the summer.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
I try not to book myself on Sundays.
Yeah.
I need a shutdown day. I
Sure.
need a day that I can just sit outside and just decompress and get over it all. And I think that's very important for vendors too. Like, you need to make your own time for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't think that you need to take every single event that comes your way. Like, yeah, it's great when you're starting out, but you're going to burn yourself out
Yeah.
so fast.
And that's why you need to, like, when you're getting into it, I think it's really important to form community and to make those network connections, because I hear this from photographers particularly all the time, is that like there's only so many weddings you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to take a break. And if someone comes to you and wants to book you, and you're like, I just can't do this weekend for one reason or another, to have someone that you can comfortably refer to is really important. So you can kind of take that minute either for yourself or to do something else. It becomes really important.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of jumped into what our next topic was going to be, vendor relationships.
It's like I knew it or something. It's like I do vendor relationships every day, Ron.
You don't?
It's weird.
I mean, you know, you think about it, we all have to work together to make that day go perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always tell the stories about how something got fixed behind the scenes. Bride and groom didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because most of us all work together so well, right?
Yeah.
Like we try very hard to I think even the people who have issues with each other find a way to squash that for
Sure.
that 5 to 8 hours.
Of course,
that
there's a
they're
bigger
doing.
picture out there. Yeah.
You know,
I think also something that people don't really understand fully before they jump into it is if someone is in an office atmosphere or they're working a 9 to 5 or they're in a small business that you usually have some people,
right.
you got people with you, you know, to bounce ideas off of, to talk with, to commiserate with, to like tell the horror stories with. Oftentimes in the wedding industry, it's very common to be a solopreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or it's very common to have a very, very small team. Your colleagues become whatever the wedding crew is that day
Oh, yeah.
for that wedding.
For sure.
You know, and so you see these people for the day, and then sometimes you don't see them for a year or even ever again. And so forming those relationships with those people like on the day and before, so everything runs smoother, and then just being comfortable with like having a lot of people to work with at one time and different personalities and different communication styles, and like kind of having that almost chaos of work relationships to deal with, and then also going like radio silent by yourself, hovering over a computer like at 3:00 in the morning when you're working,
or waking up in the middle of the night and
it's like very
going to do something.
It's kind of crazy, like just the juxtaposition between like so many people working on a project at one time and then nothing.
Yeah. I'm always amazed. I swear it's like every Thursday night during wedding season, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh my God, I need to write this down so that I don't forget to buy such as whatever I need for this event because it's different than my normal events.
It's crazy. There's never a day that's the same. No. And I have a unique perspective because I'm not there on the wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of hear all the stuff from all the different vendors, and it's crazy. It's wild.
It really is.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked already about, you know, making sure we're managing our clients' expectations by correcting issues the day of. But so many couples are planning their own wedding.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, you got to think about setting their expectations for their vendors, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I was going with that.
I think also because most weddings are first timers, they don't know what they're doing.
They don't.
And so as a wedding vendor, even if you're a new wedding vendor, you kind of have to anticipate knowing what they don't know.
For sure.
You know, and so you have to anticipate the questions that they might ask you or not even know to ask you and kind of like proactively put forward. You know, it's like if you've never bought a house before, you don't know what to ask in the inspection process.
100%.
If like there's mold behind the drywall, what do? You know, there's like, where does the load bearing wall? You don't know these things. You don't know. And so if you're jumping into becoming a wedding vendor, you have to take your experience, but like kind of always put on your hat of newbie.
For sure. And own it, kind of like own it if you don't know it, right?
Yeah.
Like tell the client, like, I'm not sure. Let me look into that.
Yeah.
Because I think that builds a big level of trust with them,
For
knowing
sure.
that, okay, yeah, you're not going to know everything, but you're going to find out how to fix whatever that issue is.
And you're going to lean back on the network that you've created of other people and ask them the question so that you can learn and grow and be more confident as you move forward.
And they take away all that stress from the family, right?
For sure. Oh God, the families.
We love you, families.
We love the families.
All right. So marketing and getting booked.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You kind of made a face on that one.
It's a lot. I just feel it's a lot because I think that one of the things that I hear, because I'm in the unique position of like, I have basically a marketing platform where like people can come and they can join and they can get build their network and exposure and all the things. But like when you started bartending and when you started this business, were you like, I must be a marketing guru now?
I mean, you know me well enough to know that I would try. Right.
I think everyone would try.
And I'm not afraid to learn what I don't know. Like so many people get overwhelmed by things like that. But unless you can afford to really spend the money, you need to learn the basics at least.
You have to learn the basics. You have to carve out the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they're not well versed in what social media actually does. Like, P.S. social media doesn't show all your posts to all your followers.
No.
Like, pro tip. They don't, you know? And so that's why engagement is so important. That's why like making sure you hook people is so important. emails are important as a segment because it does send to your whole email list, right? And like, how do you nurture an email program? What should your website look like to make sure that like all the buttons for booking are in the right places that people are going to find? None of these things are like naturally coming to
No.
you when you're like, I'm going to design wedding flowers. You know, you're thinking about the flowers and learning about design and doing
But
all
that's why
that
you
stuff.
have the creative side, right? But you may
Yeah.
not have the tech side.
Exactly. And like
So-
the experience to know how all those things mend together. So I think it's really hard. I think it's doing your research. It's leaning on the tutorials and the education that you can get from YouTube, at least the basics. YouTube's a great resource, guys. And I think it's talking to other people. Like, rely on your network. You know, what worked for you? What didn't work for you? I think that talking to other people is really important.
So I kind of feel like, yeah, YouTube's great. Following social's great, right?
Yeah.
But you got to follow the right people. You have to find the people that seem to have the experience. Just because one guy gets a viral video doesn't mean he knows what he's doing. He might have gotten lucky.
1000%.
Look for people who have a good following,
Yeah.
who, you know, have a ton of engagement on their post, and their success stories all across the board.
For sure. One of the things that we're expanding on Upstate Indie Weddings right now for wedding vendors is our resources page. So if you go to upstateindyweddings.com and you go to the wedding pro tab, there's a drop down for resources, and we add in there not only like local business resources if you want to like reach out to somebody and get some advice, but also like what podcasts we think are really valuable, what books we think are really valuable, what YouTube. Wow. Yeah, it's new. She's new. She's late breaking. You know, we had a networking event the other week, and we talked about financial foundations. You know, and
which is great, by the way.
Thanks.
If you get a chance to go to some of these, you gotta go.
You should do that. But talking about like, okay, how do you figure out, like, do you need a bookkeeper? What do you actually have to keep track of? Like all these questions that pop up.
You know, and like you mentioned, the networking events, styled shoots.
Yeah.
Get out there, get some content for yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
get content
you join
for
Upstate
yourself.
Indie Wedding, you can go for free.
I mean, I think that's the one thing that's really, that I hear, one of the main perks. I mean, obviously getting exposure in front of couples, but growing when you're downtown.
Yeah, right.
I think one of the main things for vendors that like they don't have when they first start is a library of content, right? And that becomes so important with marketing because couples need to see you in action. Mm-hmm. They need to see you in a wedding setting. If it's a product, for example, and it's just a product on a white background, it don't mean as much to them.
It could be beautiful, but
it could be gorgeous. But if it's on a full tablescape and everything is it just looks beautiful and inspirational, then you're going to get far more engagement.
My wife could not visualize what something looks like.
It's hard.
You know, like with all the colors and the flowers and all that stuff. But once you see that stuff at these styled shoots,
and that's one of the reasons, a big reason a lot of people do join is because it is part of membership. We have lots of styled shoots throughout the year, and you get to not only network with all the other people who are there, but there's professional photographers on site taking beautiful, high quality photos for you to use in your content and incorporating that with all the other types of vendors to create this like beautiful editorial photos for you.
Let's dabble in the business side of weddings.
Let's do it.
This is probably the part that I think everyone probably struggles with in the beginning, unless you're super business savvy.
I think everyone struggles, period, with it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard.
Like we just talked about, though, you can't be afraid to look up and find out what you need, right?
Yes.
Like insurance and contracts, you know, nobody thinks about that stuff.
Gross.
And then something happens and you're screwed.
You're really screwed. You're really screwed.
I mean,
I had a instance, this is, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and I got a nasty, scary looking email from a attorney in Nevada saying that I had some sort of like copyright infringement on some random photo of some celebrity's hairstyle from 2014. I'm like, it is 2025. What are you talking about? I didn't even own the business back then. What are you even talking about? And I had to hire an attorney. Thank God I had a good attorney who didn't charge me $1 million, because that's also the thing out there is like all this stuff is so expensive. How do I even figure it out? And she took care of it for me, and it was totally fine. And I met her through a networking event. So it's just about like building this network around you to be able to have reliable resources when something does go wrong. But I never in a million years would have thought that somebody in Nevada would be yelling at me about some hairstyle from 10 years ago.
It's mind-blowing. And a lot of times you're sharing stuff from social, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not even doing anything that you think would be a problem. And here you go.
Exactly. And here you go. So yeah, contracts, how are you set up properly from an accounting and bookkeeping and tax perspective? Like that's a whole other kind of can of worms that you have to have enough knowledge or resource or like people around you to give you good advice to be able to make sure that you're not getting screwed with taxes, you're taking advantage of what you can, you're paying things on time, you're filling out forms on time.
You need to think about your quarterly taxes, which again, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that are in the wedding industry seem to be doing DBAs, which I think is absolutely crazy because if something happens,
it's on you.
You're not protected. This is you as a person.
Yeah.
You know, so form that LLC. It's not expensive. It's actually really easy to do online if you know where to look. If you're getting employees, make sure you have workers' comp, disability, like all that craziness.
All that paperwork.
I think I told you I got fined last year.
Yeah.
3 insurance companies told me I wasn't even eligible for it. So what do you think? I don't need this.
Yeah, of course.
And you just move on.
Yeah.
And then you get this lovely letter from New York State that says you owe $7,000.
You cannot move on.
No. do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Brick wall right in front of you. I mean, I think another thing that especially just because our financial foundation's networking thing was just so top of mind is like the seasonal income. Mm-hmm. Like moving from when you have a steady 9-to-5 job, you get paid every week or every other week and you know when that money is coming. But if you jump into this wedding planner, this wedding vendor situation, not only are you obviously responsible for making your own money, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to come in if you don't bring it in, right? That's with all entrepreneurship. But weddings are so seasonal. It's summer and fall. Mm-hmm. That's when you're making all of your money. And then the winter and early spring, very quiet.
So I will tell you from my standpoint is we get put in a very bad spot every January, February, March because we don't get booked sometimes until 3 or 4 months before weddings. Yeah. And, you know, being the busy season is what? August, September, October, November in Buffalo. We don't see a deposit for 3-4 months sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I'm going through that right now. And like my wife left her job, which I'm so happy for, but I didn't think about the strain.
We're going to have some ramen, aren't we, honey?
Yeah. You know, I didn't take that into account in September when that happened to put a little extra away because she's not going to be making what she made. Yeah. So
it's a balancing act.
It's not just your life; it's your spouse or your significant other to make sure that all your ducks in a row year round.
You got to figure it out. It's really difficult, and it's not doable. It's very doable. It's just a mindset shift. I mean, my business runs a little bit differently just because I'm not a wedding vendor. Mm-hmm. So I do kind of have more annual consistency. However, in the summer, when all of my wedding vendors are busy, they're not paying attention to when their invoices are due because they're running a million miles a minute trying to actually keep up with their own business. So if their monthly membership is due, they're not paying attention to it as much.
I'll be honest. I see that email and I'm like, I'll get to this.
Like, whatever.
I'll get to this Monday, Tuesday.
Do you see what I deal with every day?
And then, you know,
times 60. Yeah.
It's hard.
But it's hard. It is. But you just have to it's a mindset shift for sure. And I think also investment, you think about investment differently because depending upon what kind of business you are in, you could be investing quite a significant sum of money up front to even get you started, you know, and are you really willing to do that? And even if it's not equipment, it might be the marketing, it might be the branding, it might be getting these kind of tech platforms to be able to sustain some of your marketing or your finances or whatever it is. It's just stuff you don't think about when you are still in that phase when you're just planning your own wedding and you're like, should I do this professionally?
Right.
You know, you just have to go and eyes wide open.
So I listen to a lot of motivational speakers and things like that. And I want to say that it was Matthew McConaughey that made it.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
his red light, green light thing was really interesting.
Yes, I
and
love
I
that
can't
book.
remember, do you, the exact quote, do you know it? I'm trying to think of it
Do you
off the
want
top
me
of
to
my
Google
head.
it?
No, we don't need to Google it, but look it up.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah,
I'll put it on.
It's a really good quote about life in general.
Yeah.
But one of the things he mentioned was something along the lines of like, if this investment doesn't make your business money right now, can it be pushed down the road?
Yeah.
And if you're someone like me, I'm just like, woo, money.
I'm gonna buy.
I like to make it rain even when I shouldn't be making it rain.
Flower wall.
And that's one.
Yeah.
But like I splurge and I don't think about like how fast can I use this, right?
Yeah. Like how fast will it pay you back?
Right.
Right.
And in my head, I'm thinking, 3 rentals, it pays me back.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking, when are these 3 rentals?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, I already have one booked. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Also, the other component of it is you have a flower wall.
Right.
But does everyone else out there know you have a flower wall? And
Right.
do you have a marketing strategy to be able to present that to everyone else so you can get those 3 bookings to pay that off?
If I was listening to McConaughey,
Yeah.
it could be making me money.
It could be.
But it's sitting in the box right now.
It's sitting in the box.
And it's not even been, it's marketed. It's on the website as we have it available, but I just haven't pushed.
Exactly. And no one, like, unless you drive people to something, they're not just naturally gonna go search it out necessarily. I mean, I know I have a ton of services and a ton of stuff that like I should be marketing better. Everybody does.
Yeah, 100%.
But you don't want to repeat yourself a million times. But I think the statistic is someone needs to hear something 6 to 7 times before it actually sets in. So are you comfortable moving into a space where, you have this new, I'm going to make it up, wedding planning service, right? That you want to offer to people, this new business. You have to go out there and you have to tell everybody until you are blue in the face what you have, what you offer to the same people over and over and over again. And are you willing to do that? So, are you comfortable doing that?
So I love that you brought that up. So I bought the trailer in 2023 and the guy that had it before me only used it for tailgates. So the stigma was it's only for tailgates, only for tailgates. I had to change that whole stigma around. In 2025 was my best booking year for the trailer, but it was because I stuffed it down people's throats.
Yeah.
It annoyed me.
Yeah.
I hated myself. Like every day I'm like, oh God.
I know.
I'm promoting the pod again.
It's
Here we go.
Not this one. His different pod. I know. Very confusing with the pods.
The trailer pod.
Yeah, the trailer pod.
But yeah, I mean, it just finally clicked and
It's
people
a
started
lot.
seeing like, okay, this is what it's for.
Yeah.
But that's where you have to go back to your marketing and being friends with vendors and doing the style shoots where you get these things out there too.
And the consistency of it. And
For
just
sure.
like, how do you say the same thing over and over and over and over again, but in slightly different ways? So the message lands, but it hooks people. It's all that stuff. And if any of this conversation is like, yes, that sounds so exciting, then like, yeah, do the thing.
Do it, yeah.
But if you're like, ew, I am so creeped out by everything that they're saying, like maybe you should take pause and like help your friends and family, as kind of like a side hobby versus jumping into a professional business.
Shadow someone in the field that you want to go into.
Great idea.
Some people take on apprenticeships.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't, only because there's too much at risk with the alcohol and stuff like that. But take that leap, follow somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of people who have been interested in and have started communities across the country. And we've talked a lot about, should they start a membership program? What does that look like? And asking questions. And I think overall, like the wedding industry is so small. And so, yes, there are some people who are very private and they don't want to share. But I think overall, most people want to talk and share,
Especially when it comes to their business, right? They're super excited.
Business, they're really excited. And I think that most people, it's community over competition. I've found the majority of the time. So ask the questions. Like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I'm thinking about XYZ. What do you think? I think people are very willing to, again, apprentice, mentor, do whatever in order to help you figure it out.
I feel like we covered kind of like mostly negative stuff today. There's a lot of positive in there.
It's so positive.
But there was a lot of like, this is tough, this is tough, this is tough. But there are a lot of rewards to this too, right?
There's so many rewards.
I think I love when I get the client's picture I try to get one at every event of the couple together.
Yeah.
and just their smiling faces and just seeing them being so happy
Yeah.
and hopefully so in love.
I would hope so.
I've been in a few bad
the
ones.
day
I mean,
of. Well, unless they've had too many. Of
that's
your
completely
signature
possible.
cocktails.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's one of the biggest days of people's lives, and you're being a big part of it by helping them through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. And I feel like that's something you really got to want to do this, right?
For sure. I think that there's a lot of sleepless nights. I think there's a lot of details, a lot of anxiety and stress. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, my perspective is different because I only really see couples at our wedding events. And, you know, it's not a wedding day, but there is a lot of preparation. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of logistics and stuff that goes into it. And I'm usually at the table when I'm checking people in. And it's so fun for me to be able to talk to all of these couples and get their stories and like see their excitement as they're like starting this planning journey. And like, you know, it's joyful, you know,
for sure.
and to be able to be a part of that in a very small way and then kind of welcome them into this planning journey where they're going to meet their team. Like, it's really rewarding.
Do you ever get to see it all come together? Do you ever see like them
No.
tag
Well,
like
okay, I
the
take that
vendors that
back.
you work with?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So we do a real wedding series, and I would encourage everybody, if you have gotten married already and you're willing to share, we do a real wedding series where we advocate. We want people to tell us their full journey and tell us what vendors they used and show us the pictures, and we'll do like a social media shout out and blog just to highlight, and we'll call out the vendors. And so I have one couple in particular, and they came to, I think it was like 9 wedding shows. They
That's
had
a lot of
like,
wedding shows.
I mean, we throw a couple a year, right? And I think they had like a 2.5-year engagement because it was that COVID time.
Okay.
So things got kind of pushed
changed,
out, you know, and so they came to a lot of wedding shows, and they were so sweet. They got married, I want to say 1.5 years ago, and they were like, can we still come to the wedding shows afterwards? Because we used it as date night, and it was a really fun date night. And they used a lot of the vendors, and they're on one of our real wedding stories. And it's just like, it becomes nice to see them and see how happy they are. And have.
Do you think it's almost like their routine now because they were they went to so many? They're like, oh, wedding season.
But now they're bringing all of their engaged friends, you know, and if they choose to go down this road, they might have children one day and need baby shower. And like, there's so many life events. I don't know.
I want to meet them
see.
now. So.
Okay, well now I'll tell you about them afterwards.
We can send them over to the photo booth there, and we'll get some.
Yeah, we'll get some cute pictures. Right. Yeah, for sure. But it is rewarding.
That was kind of, I was excited about that. I thought you were going to have more to that, but
sorry,
it's okay. I thought maybe people would tag up, say, to new weddings, and like.
I mean, sometimes they do. They oftentimes will tag us, like at the show. I love when they tag the vendors. You know, I would love for more people to be like, hey, we met this person at the show, and like, look, I got the dress. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, if you're out there, please tag us because it's just me, and I get really attached and like nosy. So yeah, definitely keep tagging us.
One piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to get into this craziness?
I would say do your research and form your network quick. Like even before the branding and the creative and your logo and your font and all that kind of stuff, that feels like the first thing you should do, right? It feels like I need to get my business set up and like what it's going to look like. Form your people first. Like get out there and start talking to people, because talking to them may inform some of those decisions and every other decision you make along the way. So get some good references, join a community, you know, go on some of the Facebook groups and just talk to people first.
Mine was that's exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's okay. But, you know, if you do get into this, you really need to check in with your couples the day of.
Yeah.
We kind of made that mistake when we first started where we didn't go out of our way for them, and they want to feel special then.
Yeah, of course.
So do everything that you can to make them feel special within reason. You know, if it's unreasonable, that's a completely different story.
They're crazy people.
But the one thing that we started doing was we started going out to them and asking them what they wanted to drink for dinner. And it's just made such a small difference. And small differences all across the board will make these people even happier.
Yeah.
On their special days. So.
It's their day. Like, you have to
remember that too.
cater
Like, it's
to
not
the
your
fact that
day.
it's their day.
It's not your day. You're there to make money.
For sure.
And hopefully make them happy.
Provide a service.
Yeah,
obviously.
So.
But it's the day that they've dreamed about, since potentially they were little.
Mm-hmm.
And they've definitely been planning for at least the year and a half or so. So just make it as much about them as you possibly can.
Guys, anyone that's breaking into the wedding industry, we hope that you found this informative. If you have any questions, please just drop them in the comments. We'll be happy to answer them for you. If you need something from a specific field, let us know. We'll reach out to our resources and we can try to point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Make sure you click like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.